Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle, the Vice President of Antrix, the Geospatial Society of DTU. Before we begin today's technical session, I kindly request all participants to fill in your name, email ID, and institution in the Google Sheet link shared in the chat. This is essential for certificate generation and official communication. Thank you for your cooperation, and we look forward to an insightful session today.
Michelle, next part is yours.
Okay, ma'am. In today's space ecosystem, technology opens the door, but the right skills and decisions shape the journey. A very warm welcome to GeoSpace TechFest DTU 2026 Technical Session 4. Over the course of GeoSpace TechFest, we have explored geospatial tools, automations, artificial intelligence, and their applications. Today's session focuses on the next crucial step: how students can convert this knowledge into careers, ventures, and professional opportunities within India's rapidly growing space sector. Before we move into our main technical session, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge an important supporter of this initiative. We are grateful to have the support of Hyfix India Private Limited, our valued partner for GeoSpace TechFest 2026. Their support has played a significant role in enabling GeoSpace TechFest to remain a zero registration fee initiative, ensuring accessibility for students from DTU as well as universities across the country. We are pleased to announce that the team from Hyfix India Private Limited will now take the next 10 minutes to share their insights about their work, vision, and contributions to the geospatial ecosystem. We request all participants to stay connected and give them a warm welcome.
So you can start.
Yeah. Hello, Kamini, and hello all. My name is Prasad. I'm taking care of this Hyfix India Private Limited. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I have a small presentation. I'll try to finish it in few minutes, and then we can take the calls later also. Think whenever you have any questions. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
sir.
Yeah, so we are from Hyfix India Private Limited. So what were looking is like we want to give highly cost-effective RTK solutions nationwide, and this we have a motivation to make the manufacturing the devices, the hardware for us ourselves, and support these initiatives. I can take this more on RTK in the coming slides. This also like I'll take you to the next slides about like how is IFIX India has formed. So GeoNet is a global observation decentralized network. It's there worldwide. So it is founded as a non-profit organization, as a decentralized autonomous organization. And Hyfix Spatial Intelligence is a US-based organization, and it's a hardware partner and data reseller for the GeoNet. And Hyfix India is formed as an independent company, where Hyfix as a technology partner. So this also will be the raw data provider, and where we actually could able to take care of the compliance and all the legal and regulatory requirements. Because geospatial thing is kind of very closed one, where foreign entities cannot operate on their own. It requires definitely the rules to be met by them. So Hyfix India will comply that. Just to take further, I want to show you what we actually try to build it. The blue one is with Hyfix data, and the purple is a standard GPS. So what we are trying to build is we are trying to build your location accuracy of your device accurate to centimeters. So okay, now how this is done is we use RTK primarily. RTK is, if you actually look at this table for comparison, most of the civil engineering students know what is RTK or PPP. This RTK, if you see in this dotted this one, it is like we can get an accuracy of the your own coordinate accurate to millimeter to centimeter. And the best part with RTK is your convergence time. You could able to get that corrections very quick and fast. But it requires the challenge with RTK is you require lots of base stations. Basically, you need a reference station which is nearby, and then it's able to give you the corrections in some areas like like 20 kilometers to 30 kilometers, and then you can need one more station. So this requires a lot of infrastructure cost. And then other thing is it operates with the NTRIP protocol. So NTRIP stands for Network Transmitted RTCM Message over Internet Protocol. This is essentially requires a cellular connection. So and RTK is not the technology which is there. It's already there since 20 years. But then with having cellular connections much better today, we could able to enable RTK to be more democratized. Earlier it was kind of there, but it is like kind of at silos. But now we could able to provide a kind of a global network where it could be easily accessible by many people. So how do we do? This is our standard base station. We allow it to people to deploy it, and then this very simple hardware. If you see compared to a traditional CORS network, CORS network, like if you see like Survey of India, they set up like this will be like kind of classic way of setting up, and which will cost like kind of like 20 to maybe 30 lakhs. But then this is kinds of hardware which comes under 1 lakh. So that's a first difference. And second thing is we actually could able to and because of NTRIP protocol, this gives the same results actually. Like you could able to are compatible to most of the receivers what are there in the market, like Trimble, CSC, uBlocks. If anybody want to connect it to this and then build their own correction services on top of this. So how do it happens? How do we scale it up? Is the JodeNet which I mentioned, it works as a Web3 entity. So people and get a base station, they install and connect to, and be part of the network, and they start earn the tokens. As on today, like they'll start getting like like $50 to $50 a month every when they set up the stations, and they just keep it on the network. Now with that, we could able to establish around 21,000 stations all the world, and then here we have like around 1,300 stations in India, and these are all kind of 4-phase constellation that including Navic, like GNS is basically you have like GPS, Baidu, GLONASS, and Galileo, and our Navic also, and they're all like uniform, and they're all calibrated, they're monitored, and all are like triple band. When I say triple band, they are on L1 band, like L1, L2, and L5. So this is how that hardware looks like, and very pretty simple hardware. And these stations, when it comes to India, what is the difference is these stations data in India stays in India because as per the guidelines of the NGP, and these are all like kind of secured with the crypto chip, and they are all like a Navic compatible. Now this how do we monitor is like the initial coordinate for the base station set up with the PPP model, and with that we could able to get the first coordinate of that one, and these stations were monitored for the moment, signal quality, online time, and number of satellites. So because of this one, we could able to provide the data security against the spoofing, because it's multi-constellation as such, and then we can also find the fake or the bad data. And we have the products other than that base station. This is like GeoPulse, which will able to connect our network and get this. So we can able to get the lane level accuracy on the for a car navigation. And this is like GeoMeasure, which will comes with the article ready surveying, where you get this precision of accuracy 2 centimeters. We're also building our own kind of a drone, which is like a very small drone under 250 grams, which basically works for the surveillance and home security. Like it's like it goes in a drone in a box, so it'll because the location is so accurate. So it's like programmable, and then it will able to operate. You got a kind of security area, like you got your home or area where you want to. This could able to fly and then take pictures and come back, and then it finds some anomaly. Then it able to alert the other people who are around it. Currently, we have collaboration with academic with IIT Tirupati with the PNT labs, and then we have got IIT Hyderabad. They use our data for this autonomous vehicle development, and with IIT Kanpur, we have this National Center for Geodesy. They're planning to use our data for this new datum plane for the or reference datum plane for India. And what we are also building at US is we are trying to build a system of chips on chips, which is kind of blockchain secured location data and geofencing. This basically we are aiming for the drones, which could make is very simple and easy. And what we see, this is going to become kind of a new norm, because the location accuracy to centimeters is a kind of need, not for the humans, but when you talk about the future autonomous driving and all, because most of the industry talks about the mapping, but the mapping is one part, but the location itself a machine cannot able to read on its own, and that location intelligence we could able to provide with our network. Yeah, so this is there is subscription charges for using our network, but this is kind of less than the our survey of India thing. And yeah, that's all. But yeah, if you got any things like you have interest on our network, you can connect to me later, and then we can see how do we could able to. You can find some like I can give you some free data. You can able to evaluate it and then see. And, anything.
Sir, can you share your email in the chat box so if someone wants to connect to you, they can?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. Neha, start.
Thank you to the team at Hyfix India Private Limited for sharing your insights and for supporting student-driven initiatives like GeoSpace TechFest. Hello everyone, I am Neha, MSc Geospatial Science student and President of Antriksh, the Geospatial Society of DTU. For those joining us today for the first time, GeoSpace TechFest is the premier technical initiative of Antriksh, organized under the Department of Geospatial Science and Technology. Through these technical sessions, we aim to bridge the gap between academic learning and real-world industry expectations, especially in the domains of geospatial science and space technology. Today's technical session is designed to help students understand how to navigate career pathways, startups, and professional growth within India's space ecosystem. It is now my privilege to introduce our speaker for today's technical session. Mr. Sibsankar Palit is the founder and executive director of Life 2 and Beyond Foundation. He is also a visiting scholar at BMSIS, coordinator at SpaceCrew Working Group, associated with InnovaSpace, and a board member at ACES Worldwide. With extensive experience across education, outreach, research, and space entrepreneurship, he brings a comprehensive perspective on building careers and ventures in the Indian space sector. Sir, we are honored to have you with us today. The virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Neha and team. I hope I'm audible clearly to you all.
Sibsankar, your voice is like low, very low.
Uh, just a second, I'll just correct it. Am I audible now? Hello?
Yeah, can it be more better?
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, GeoSpace TechFest, DTU, for inviting me and my colleagues to partner with your event and also be a part of this wonderful audience who is here today. Without further ado, let me just share my screen so that I can begin the discussion today that we are going to have. That is very important, I believe, because for every college student, for every university student, it's quite common that what is next thing, like what is the career forward, right? So I can just brief you all through this, let's say, career options, the spectrum that exists in the space sector, and also the how you can start your own venture, like as a student itself. So I think so. I'm like, if you could stop sharing your screen, Joshi, and maybe I can share it. Is that okay? Ah, great. Thank you. If you could kindly confirm, like if you can see the presentation mode now.
Uh, can you like remove your mic and speak because your voice is
Hello,
very low?
hello. Am I audible now?
Yeah, now you're audible, but it
Is
goes
it better?
away
Okay. Uh,
sometimes.
just give me a minute, please. Just give me a minute.
Okay, okay, all right.
Yeah. Am I audible clearly now?
Yeah, now very clear.
Okay, great. So our topic today that we are going to discuss, and I would want all in the audience to be proactive enough to write in the chat, because from time to time I'm going to ask you some questions, and it's a one-word thing that I'll ask, and that's the way that I can at least see if there is some engagement among you all. So space careers and ventures in space. Like in India, when I'm talking about the Indian space program, it is a very broad sector at the moment. It's no longer just ISRO, the ISRO that has been running for 60 plus years now. The Indian space program doesn't just get limited to ISRO. It also includes the academia, which is moving towards like proper space research, as well as even productization, and also includes for profits and non-profits in space. So taking this overview, like this consideration that the Indian space program is very broad and no longer limited to a particular organization, let's start discussing. um okay, the first two slides would be more, let's say, general enough about life itself, because about job and career, whenever these questions arises, we have this kind of thought, like we think that it is all about life. One way is this job path that you can take, and the other is the entrepreneurship. But frankly, is it what life is all about? I don't think so. Perhaps life itself is what you see on the screen. We are all walking our own paths, right? We are all weaving our own unique journeys ahead. Like you can be, let's say, doing a job and also maybe running a company at the same time. You can just be running your company. You can just be doing your job. You can be an artist. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be a, let's say, a teacher. You can be anything. Like every path is unique, and that is very important to also consider when I'm talking about the space sector in general, because the space sector itself is very very broad. You cannot just define one background or one technicality or one expertise and say that only this expertise people can go into the space sector. There are very very, let's say, broad options open in the space sector, and you can go ahead. So like this same picture, like everyone is walking their own path. At some point you can coincide, at some point you have to walk it out alone, or at some point you will have your team or more people walking the same path. But then each one of our path is unique. So taking this into consideration, let us proceed with the discussion. Okay, the first question that I want to ask our dear audience: can you name a space career? Like just name a title, a job title maybe. Okay, in the chat, quickly, in 1 or 2 minutes, we can get some inputs, I hope. Okay, astronomer, astrophysicist. Okay, more. Space coordinator. Okay, geologist. Okay, more. Keep it coming. How about some engineering as well? Okay, scientists. So in scientists, there are of course like various. Maybe you would like to be more specific a bit. Astrodynamics engineer. Yes, great. More. Something more. How about beyond science? Image analyst. Yes. Aerospace engineer. Robotics engineer. More. Then astronaut. Yes, great. Satellite technician. Yes. More. How about let's like think a bit apart from science. Okay, remote sensing scientist, geospatial analyst for space applications. Technicians involved. Okay. More. Let us think beyond science. Like somebody, let's say, who is not into science, can they join the space sector? Mission controllers. Yes, of course. Okay. So a space-based movie creator director. Yes, of course, that is also there. Space policy and governance analyst. Okay, great. This is the formula to joining space that we often discuss at the Life and Beyond Foundation, that the key to joining space sector is essentially this one, a very simple one. Generally we use the prefixes space. Okay, I like that one, Christopher Nolan. Okay, anyways, space or astro or cosmo, these are the three prefixes that we often use for space, let's say, people. And then we add it to any existing field, be it geology, be it, let's say, engineer, be it, let's say, chemist or physicist or mathematician or statistician or artist or entrepreneur or lawyer, or even, let's say, engineering, architecture, and many more. Like it's endless technically. Okay, so like if you see, if I just um, go from the very beginning, like from astronomy to astro plus space gives and plus physics gives astrophysics or space physics, in fact. Then there's astro or cosmos space chemistry as well, astrochemistry. And then there is astrobiology. In fact, there's a field, or let's say space biology, again different. Then astrostatistics, astrocomputational sciences, and then there's space environment and space weather, the solar weather and all those kinds of careers that exist. Then there are doctors in space, these astronauts, those who go, who takes care of their health? It's the space medicine people. Then astrosociology, like we are thinking of developing some civilization in some other planet, or let's say working in space stations, right? But then how do we work together? It is, after all, understanding humans. It is astrosociology. It exists in Western countries as well. In our country as well, there are certain sociology, or let's say lawyers, those who are working towards this, but then they are few in number at the moment. And then there is space governance and politics or diplomacy. Did you know, like how many knew that there are, let's say, some center of excellence in Delhi itself in space law? Or if you are from, let's say, Mumbai or Calcutta, there are some center of excellence in space law in these cities. Any idea? Anyone? How many of you know? Just tell yes in the chat. If I don't get a yes in the next 30 seconds, I will know that you didn't know. And it exists for many years, frankly, for last like 5 to 6 years. I'm not getting any yes, so I can assume that none of us. Okay, great. Negi knows it. Pragati knows it. Great. So there are very less information about such fields that also exist in the space sector. And then, of course, space journalism and communication, astrophotography exists as well. And even space philosophy is a field, space anthropology is a field, space economics. How is the market changing in the space sector? Or let's say space food. Now, this Antariksh Yatris, or let's say these astronauts, the Gagannauts who are going from India, who is making their food? Who is making the this what is that called? That gajar ka halwa or moong ka halwa or amras, all this that Shubhanshu Shukla took to space, right? So these all that are existing, or let's say in the International Space Station for so many years it has been operational. Who is making the food for these people, right? Or let's say even agriculture, space agriculture, or space art is a field. I have many of my friends working in space art. They produce merchandise and space art every year, or let's say every month. And then, of course, like space law and ethics exists, space engineering. This is like this part itself can be divided up into many subfields. Okay, like engineering itself has so many domains. Okay, so and architecture as well. And then there is space education. I myself work in space education sector. Okay, and then there is space entrepreneurship, space sustainability, like space situational awareness and all. And then say how these satellites and space debris all can be mitigated. So these all come within space sustainability job profiles. And of course there is astrogeology, like understanding this mineralogy or planetary science or the moon's geological features, or even let's say understanding the photographs taken from space of earth. So those let's say GIS or GPS, or let's say the remote sensing data and all those come under these atmospheric sciences, oceanography and meteorology domains. And of course you can broadly define it as space studies and not just space science. So it goes beyond science. Okay, just that, remember, space is vast and unexplored. So find your place in space. So with that, I would like to move ahead with our discussion more into the space ventures. But just remember, just like this vastness of space, the opportunities of space are endless. But remember that in today's date in India, there are more opportunities increasing. You have to be courageous enough to take on to one path and follow it, and be perseverant enough. That is important. Okay. Um, Moving next, my next question to you all: can you name a space entrepreneur in the chat? Name a space entrepreneur like with his or her company. Quickly. Elon Musk with his company. Okay, SpaceX. Great. I was expecting that name. More? Just Elon Musk. Okay, Dhruva. What Dhruva? What Dhruva Aerospace? Okay. Dhruva Space. Yes. Sir Richard Branson, Virgin Galactic. Yes. More? Some more? Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin. Great, Pragati. Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos. Yes, great. More? Okay, I have got all the three names. Okay, great. Anushesh Ansari. Okay. Yeah, can you name the company as well? More names? X Prize Foundation. Okay, great. Got it. More? Some more names. If I would have asked, name some film stars. If I would have asked, let's say, name some football or cricket players, maybe you would have got more names. So, anyways, now why I asked this question? I asked this question for the very reason the three names that I expected in the very beginning, the common picture, or let's say our representatives, just like we have our constituencies representatives representing us at the parliament. So these three are the three star faces of space entrepreneurship in the world today. Of course, Elon Musk with his SpaceX, Jeff Bezos with his Blue Origin, and Richard Branson with Virgin Galactic. But there are more. Let's say, have you ever heard about these names? If yes, then write yes in the chat. Dr. Shushmita Mohanty, she is a serial space entrepreneur. Okay, like she founded 3 companies, both non-profit and for-profit. And then Pawan Kumar Chandana and Naga Bharat Dhaka from Skyroot Aerospace. And then Devlina Bhattacharjee from SpaceCrew. How many of you know these names? Okay, Pragati, you want to add something? Okay, Pragati knows it, I suppose. Okay, great. So some of you know their name. Okay, I'll just give you 30 more seconds, like to write in the chat if you know them, and also think if you are missing out on someone. Any guess? Anyone? Ah, exactly. So you forgot me. I'm a space entrepreneur too, working in the space sector, in the non-profit space sector. Great. So you can find a space entrepreneurial person in anyone. Okay. My point that I was trying to make is you are what you do and not what the people perceive you as. Okay. So in entrepreneurship, you will find different kinds of space entrepreneurs. Okay. It's not that they just make the rockets or let's say space launch vehicles. It's not that they just make satellites. It's not that they have to, let's say, make some rocket fuel only. They can be anyone. They can work in the space education sector. They can work in the AI and data science analysis part. They can work in, let's say, some niche in the niche space domains. Yes, there are space NGOs. I'll be discussing all of them today, along with the for-profits. So we often kind of see entrepreneurship as a very narrow domain. Okay, but then it is also a, let's say, broad spectrum, just like any other field. Okay, so that's the point that I wanted to make. And the common notions about space entrepreneurship, that somebody has to be like Elon Musk, somebody has to be like, let's say, Jeff Bezos, that is not the case. As I mentioned in the very beginning, every path is unique and you have to go and, let's say, persevere and go through that path. Now, step one important thing, and I also heard from my colleague who took the last session that there were many questions that how to start a space company or start a space club or space venture and all. So first are these 4 important things. That is finding the idea. That is a vision and mission. That is what you want to solve or what is the purpose of your organization. As for example, it can be providing space education. It can be, let's say, making reusable launch vehicles. It can be making small satellites. It can be analysis of space data for some defense technologies or some, let's say, public services or many other problems that you can solve. But you have to first find out the problem and set your vision and the mission of the organization. And remember, these 2 are very open-ended statements. Okay, because more you keep it open-ended, you are able to broaden your horizons going forward, and at the same time narrow it based on your expertise development and understanding of the market going ahead. Because like nobody knows, like you see, we cannot see the future. Like however we say, nobody can see the future, but then we can walk through it. We can walk the path and understand and then connect the dots going backwards. As Steve Jobs says, that we can only connect the dots going back, like going forward we can connect the dots back, and but then we have to keep moving forward. So you have to like find out a problem and base your vision and mission based on it. And then your target audience or customer, like who is the person who is going to consider your product or service, or let's say who needs the solution to that you are providing for a particular problem. And then the third one comes is the market research. You have to find out that product market fit, whether your product or service is fitting with the market. If there is an audience who can actually like take your service or let's say avail the service or product that you are providing, or the solution that you are bringing to the people. And of course, like creating your identity, like the branding, and let's say every time with every project, with every small thing, let's say you're presenting something, or let's say you are like doing some workshop, or let's say you're providing a particular product, or let's say doing anything, everything should have that mark of your identity or your company. Because with these small steps only, your identity means make your own place in that greater ecosystem. Okay, let's say if you see this particular slide, it has some color codings, okay, like as per our like logo itself. This is a small example of how you can like from like you can put an impression in the people's mind how your like organization looks like. Okay, or let's say what are the color codes of your own company. Okay, so in that way, these are small things that you have to consider and build that identity over the years. Okay, it's not a matter of day or a week or a single year, it's a matter of years or even decades to say so. Now these are the 4 steps. Now let's come to the step 2. Why wait? Why not just start? Because see, the greatest businesses, as they say, is the business that gets started. We can never say that like you are having a good idea, okay, but then I'll start 10 years after, or 20 years after, or after I retire, or after I die maybe. So in that way it is not going to work. You have to start somewhere. Start is the main thing, because ideas are many, like ideas are good when well implemented. That is the main thing. And to implement, you have to get started. So remember this point, that you have to start at some point in time. Start wherever possible, but then build it on the way. It is not that you will have everything one day and then you will start. Most of us think in that way. Now, of course, focus on the target, that is the right strategy. And for the consumer, what are you building? Finding out what they need. Like there are multiple needs of different kind of people. Often it is the case that we see in a very uncategorized market segment, that people don't even know what they exactly need. But then when a solution comes to it and it is more categorized and like more easy to access, then people think, no, this is making my life easier. This is kind of solving some problem that will kind of enable that particular uh, audience or that customer to buy your service, or let's say take your service, or take help from you, whatever the case is. So find out what you need, what the people need. This is only possible after you kind of discuss with multiple people, and kind of understand what others are doing, let's say in the space sector as a whole, what others are bringing to the market, and how your product or your service can provide the similar quality or something that is an edge over those existing solutions. And then find out about your interests, like what interests you, like engineering, or let's say the physics or chemistry or biology, or even if it is art, what interests you, because you are the one, you people are the one who have to take on the journey. Okay, if it doesn't interest you, then how will you even like persevere for such a long time, even if it makes you suffer? Okay, suffering is the highest form of learning, I must say. See, if you suffer in something that you are interested in, you would like to suffer and at least go on a like a long path in that way, because it is not an easy journey, frankly. So you have to find out your own interests and also prioritize those things. Every time choose your interest over any other new interest that is coming, because building a product or building a service is not a one day work or a 1 week work. Over time you have to build that trust in the market. You have to find out that proper range of, let's say, monetization in the market. You have to find out the sources of funding, or let's say investments, be it in the form of donations or CSRs in case of non-profits, or in the case of raising funds for, let's say, for profits. Okay, so you have to be interested in that, and then find out what like what they want. Like it can be that something is the need of the people, but then there are some cases where they want certain services or products. So if you find out those wants in the like in from the people, or a particular like organization or group of organizations, then you can also align your product or services in line with those interests or those let's say need of the people. So these are some of the things in way in which you can actually find your target audience or your consumer, because not everyone is going to buy your product or service. But then there will be like group with certain tiers, where let's say there's a highly motivated ones, and then there are newcomers, and then in the middle there is your, let's say, audience who may or may not be interested at times. So in that way you have to find your target. Okay, so considering this part, if we move on, the main thing that we often think when it comes to ventures, the money. So when we are talking about money, most of the entrepreneurs, or let's say the beginning organizations or beginner people, they have this thought that first thing you have to do is raise funds. Okay, or let's say the first thing you have to do, find donators or CSRs, and then we'll start our work. Then we'll start making what product we are going to make that will revolutionize the entire earth and all. This is the kind of, let's say, outlook of the people. Okay, or let's say the newcomers into the entrepreneurship. But remember, it is not that easy as shown in the movies, or let's say in the web series, or let's say written in the books. Frankly, when it comes to the money part, you have to start with your own humble capital that you have. Okay, and then go on to consider, let's say, raising for funds from investors or donators, or let's say grant stakeholders as well. Because remember, if you create money from zero money, you can be assured then that you can create money from money. Okay, because this is the main part. If you can create something from nothing, then you can be assured that you are capable of also creating something from something, right? So consider this and keep it in mind that always be reliant on yourself for the minimum, and then for, let's say, scaling up and all, go for other, let's say, sources, or let's say options for the money to come in. And of course you have to regenerate it and keep the company going. That's the main effort that is needed. Now, building team. Of course, in today's date, there are both examples of entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. You can, of course, be a solopreneur, but then when you're talking about, let's say, impacting more people, at times it becomes a bit difficult as a solopreneur. So, as Ratan Tata once said, that if you want to work fast, work alone. If you want to work far, work together. So building a successful team is the key to like building an organization, or even establishing, like, let's say, the geospace tech people. Let's say all of you are working together in coordination. If today, if one was responsible, how difficult would it be to find out sponsors, or let's say organizing the let's say marketing materials, or let's say coordinating the sessions, like every week, or let's say even finding out the audience, or like taking permissions. So it's a team effort. Okay, so considering the team effort, like you have to build that solid and competent team with a very good foundation, and it is not a one day work. And at like in the question that I was asked, like for our videos before this event itself, I was asked, like, what is a good quality in an entrepreneur? And I tried to mention that you have to find a way to be good with people. Like you have to sync with the people with different frequencies. It may be that at times people may not match your frequency, but still you have to work with them. Okay, so you have to find out to be good with people, and also at the same time understand what are the strength points of each of the people, and then make them do the task as if, let's say, you are the conductor of an orchestra. And that orchestra, when it is played, it produces a symphony. So that is running a company or running an organization, right? So you have to consider all of this when you are building a team. And everyone may not be good at everything. Even the entrepreneur himself or herself or themselves may not be good at something, right? But then there is a quote, like in Akbar's Darbar, because this Delhi Technological University, in Akbar's Darbar, if Akbar is only Anarkali, if Akbar is only Birbal, if Akbar is only some other minister, then Akbar's Darbar is not going to work, right? So you have to remember that who is good in what, and then make that good Darbar. Okay, so that is what a good team building is good team building looks like. But yes, it is not easy. As I said, it is like year after year, or let's say even at times there may be team members who have to leave. But then life goes on, you have to continue with more team members. Okay. Marketing strategy. Yes. Now, marketing strategy, there are many courses, many master classes that you can always find. But then what I want to mention here is that your marketing strategy shouldn't be just to sell your, let's say, product or service. It should be something that gives a feeling, or let's say a belongingness of the organization. Let's say the colors itself, or let's say the purpose itself that your product comes with, or let's say like such that people have that feeling, that sense that this is what the company brings in to the ecosystem. Okay, or let's say this is how this company is unique. So that should be there in your, let's say, the marketing strategy. For example, the GeoSpace Tech Fest. I've seen such festivals or events that focuses on various aspects, like on space, or let's say the engineering aspect, but but combining geology and space together. I think so. This is one of the unique platforms, and that is what you can combine things with. Like, you have to be different enough, but at the same time work in that very ecosystem, right? So make your marketing strategy in such a way that it, every time you do a particular project or bring a product to the market or bring a particular service, or even like if your team member is representing somewhere, the values of your team member, the way of delivery of your team member, or let's say the color codings, or let's say the product or service, the way you provide your product, the way you provide your service, that itself should be a reflection of your organization, that what the organization itself brings into the people. Okay. So that all, like, it is basic marketing is basically playing with the psychology of the people. Okay. So you have to consider all those pointers, and yes, there are multiple ways you can always find it online. But then this workshop is not about those technicalities, that this is the type of marketing, this you have to do the documentation for opening a company. This is more of the sense, the philosophy that you should have in your mind to start something, to keep going with something. Okay, like a company or an organization. Now, um, the management. See, the management is the core of entrepreneurship, and I summarize it as PCube. Okay, it is about project management, it is about people management, and of course the product management. Now, it can also be a service, but then just to keep it with the three P's, I have used the product term. So project management is, of course, like, it can be something that you're developing, or a system that you're developing within your organization. Okay, so that's about the project management. And the people management, because business after all is people more than the profits. Of course, profits you have to make, that is an important thing, but if your people are not there, the profits will go down and it will ultimately shut down. So the people management is absolutely important. And product management, now here by product, I mean, it can be here by product, I mean, it can be service or a particular product that you are bringing tangibly into the market. So when I talk about product management, you have to consider that like from the initial, like prototype making, to the let's say finally making a polished product enough, and then bringing it to the market, and how it gets distributed, and then how you find the on ground members to get it, let's say, distributed as the product may be. These all are the parts of the product management. So the project, people, and product management should be in line to consider a company ongoing, and then keep fighting in building your dream business or initiative. That is an important thing, because nobody is going to build your business. It is you or your team only who has to build it. Okay, because if you are on ground, if you are like alive, then only your organization and dream is alive, or else it is not. That's a harsh truth, but you have to accept it. Now, learn from others. It's not that, like, if you are in an ecosystem or in a particular, like, market where there are more competitors, it is not that you have to, let's say, you don't even talk to them, or let's say you don't even like work with them. It is not like that. You have to learn from them as well. It is not that every time you will create, like you will commit your mistake and learn from it. Okay, it's not a sustainable way going that way. You have to also learn from the mistakes that has already been made. There are multiple case studies in entrepreneurship that you should read. Okay, what case study a particular thing worked and which didn't work. But at the same time, um, be assured that because you're walking your path and it is very much unique to others, at times you have to make mistake, because those mistakes only help you learn it so hard that you do not forget. Okay, so you have to consider learning from others, be it, let's say, on the let's say product making or distribution, or let's say even starting something. That is also important. You have to take case studies. So learning from others is an important thing. Now, the most important slide that I'm expecting of this presentation comes here in front of you. That is the niche areas. This is a graph showing about, like, taking data from about 10,000 space tech companies in 20 categories, as you can see on the screen. And it kind of is a day. Okay, so like from navigation and mapping to cloud solutions in like space data collections, and then manufacturing, service and consulting. This is also an important thing. And then satellite communications, then materials and product supply, software and hardware, 5G communication, robotics and UAVs. Science and engineering itself is a separate category. One may think that all of this comes under science and engineering. That is not. There is a separate category of science and engineering. Then remote sensing, aerial imagery, AI solutions, data solutions, security and defense. This is also an important one. And then spacecraft development, and then of course education and training, space travel and exploration, natural resources, and then space medicine. These are some of the broad niche areas where one can consider opening up a company, or let's say starting on their own initiative. Like as for Life to and Beyond Foundation, we work in three major domains. One is of course space medicine, education and training, and the service and consulting. These are the three niche areas that we have considered for our organization, for our foundation as of now. So you can consider taking a snap of this particular slide, which I think will be important, because it can guide you that these are the domains that are existing in, like, in the world. Like 10,000 plus companies are working in these domains at present, like be it non-profit or for profit together. Okay, so these are some niche areas that you can explore, and of course, like, you have to find out a unique solution to some problem in these areas. Then only you can consider entering into the formal ecosystem of the space sector. Now, when I'm talking, as I mentioned in the very beginning, Indian space program, the one that was envisioned by himself, Dr. Sarabhai, Vikram Sarabhai. Like, we have an initiative after Vikram Sarabhai, the Outreach Sarabhai, as a part of which we like doing these kinds of outreaches like this one as well, on various new related space topics. So Vikram Sarabhai, when we envisioned the space sector, he envisioned, of course, like that space as a tool for making people's lives more comfortable, finding problems to people's or like the societal problems. Okay, but then of course, I think so, if today's Vikram Sarabhai was alive, his vision has broadened enough from just ISRO to the private companies or non-profits as well, or even the academia. Why is that? On the screen that you see, the new space in India, it is about the Antrix Corporation Limited, the NSIL, and then InSpace. The Antrix Corporation Limited essentially makes spacecrafts. Okay, and then the NSIL, it is basically the third party stakeholder that helps provide this launch vehicle. The payload sending to space on launch vehicles. So they offer for those, let's say, quotations from ISRO for launching to space. And then InSpace is that mid organization between ISRO and the private stakeholders like us, where, let's say, if private stakeholders like us have to do something in the space sector, we have to of course consult InSpace to work with ISRO. Okay, so these are the three organizations that has helped promote the private participation after like 2019 2020. After this time, when it started, it has kind of democratize the private space sector. Then accessibility to the space has increased after the COVID times in India. So these organizations have helped a lot or steered a lot of us in this direction. Now, somebody was asking if there is NGOs in space. Of course, like on the left side of the screen, you see the multiple for-profits in various domains that exist in today's date. Okay, there may be more, but then this is some from a consultancy company from recent data. And then there are examples of non-profits in space, like Space Industry Association in India that exists in Delhi, or the Indian Space Association that's also in Delhi. And then there's Spaceport Sarabhai, the founder of which is, of course, Dr. Sushmita Mohanty, the one that I showed in the beginning, and of course, Life to and Beyond Foundation. So there are non-profits as well as for-profits in space. Okay, so they are working in various domains, and in their own humble endeavor, they are contributing to the space sector. So you can, it is not that you have to just work in the launch vehicles or like in the for-profit, or let's say, um, um, yes, or let's say any other ways. I just want to confirm with the organizers, like, is there anything that is prohibiting me from presenting on the screen? I see someone writing in the chat. Like,
Yeah,
can you?
you can like cross this box of
Oh,
me.
you mean this one?
That's on the slide.
Okay, which cross box?
Yeah. This box, this
This one?
window. Yeah, you can cross it.
Okay. Oh, I see. Sorry.
You can
I
also
didn't
hide
realize.
this one. Meet.
Yes. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that it was been shown. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Just like there are many companies, there are also many companies that are no longer functional at the moment, because this is a very important truth that you should understand and then step into this domain. Because like you step into this domain just playfully and then consider that let's say it is just a 1 day's work or a 1 year effort, then it is not going to work. If you are into something, you have to give your whole heart and soul into that thing. If there are hardships, you have to embrace those hardships and then continue. Okay, and it is not that some solution is working for some other organization, it is going to work for you as well. At times you have to find out your own solution that may sync with your problem and may not with others. Okay, so that is the case for most of the companies. And like survival is the most important thing when it comes to entrepreneurship. It is not that like glory is very temporary, that is at times, but then survival, like being in the market for year after year, okay, providing a particular solution, that is the success of a particular company, rather than, let's say, someday you raise a lot of funds, or let's say someday you make a lot of profits. That's not the ultimate success. The success is that how much time you are in the market despite many of them withering out. Okay, so the new space, this term new space, as you see on the screen, new space essentially means that broadening up from the government space sector to the private space sector. Okay, like there are domains where, let's say, just the private sector can actually do better than the government sector. Okay, but there are again domains which the government sector has been doing well, and it is very much like those patented technologies, or those, let's say, niche technologies that the government has. At times it is slowly like transferring the technologies to certain selected industries. So as the case may be, new space actually means the broader view of the space organizations in India. Okay, now um, this is an interesting data that I want to show you. Okay, you can see like these are startups, like the for profits. Many of the companies you may know. Okay, there are like these specializations that they are working on, and then their year of foundation and the cities they are based out of. I would like to like have your attention towards the average age of the founders. Okay, like you can see all more or less are below 30. Okay, more or less it's below 30. Okay, some of them are, let's say, below 35 or something, or even 40 or something, but they're more or less it is below 30. Okay, so you can be rest assured that you are also able to start an organization or do some work in this domain. Okay, in fact, it's the same case for me. Okay, I started my organization when I was in my first year of college studying chemistry. Okay, so I and another guy, Shobajit Hajra, he was in his first year of his PhD. Okay, and he's from pharmacy. So we thought that let's say there are many organizations doing some cool work in physics and engineering. Why not we start something to do, let's say, apart from like the physics and engineering part, so that of course like there are people interested in space sector, let's say those who are not let's say into physics and engineering, but they can come, they want, and they can contribute to the space sector. So it's not that we do not have physics and engineering people, they are equally there in our organization and they form the backbone of our organization. But the main part is that in India, the narrow view of space was very, very bad. Then now it is opening up, and today we are having people from various domains contributing to the space sector. And that is what we bring through our organization, that is finding our own unique place in space. Okay. So just I want to like zoom in again for you all. If you see the age groups, you can be rest assured that you are a good like you are good to start as well. If you see many, like why just startups, you see Einstein or Newton or let's say Darwin, there these are some famous names in science. Do you think like they started, like Einstein started his work when he got those mad hair, or let's say Newton started his work when he had those curly hairs, or let's say Darwin when he had no hair? They started their work then? No, they started it in their youth. They started it when, let's say, they were of age like from 20 to 30. The start has to be from this kind of age. But of course, like there are people those who start late. The main thing is to start. There is no age limit. That is the main thing I want to like portray in through this particular data points that I'm sharing with you all. Okay. Now, get step 3 is getting the end goals, that understanding the concept of your business or initiative. Like understanding your business yourself is the main thing. Like it is you and you only who can understand your organization or the kind of service you are providing, the way you are providing, the feedback that you are receiving from them, how you have to improve. Every time you have to keep assessing yourself. It is not at all easy that you think today that this is a product. Just a second. Yes. Is the slide visible now?
Yes,
Is my
yes.
slide okay? Great, thank you. So getting the goals, that is the understanding the very concept of the business. Okay, now solving the problems in business, that is also important. Like as I mentioned, there will be problems day in and day out in your business. Okay, and that is your responsibility to take care. Maybe some are priority problems that you have to take care, some may be something that you can deal with after. Okay, so these are some things that you have to take care of going forward. And then of course, like having your own dream business, like something that you're doing of your own, often like brings in a sense of belonging. Okay, so when it brings in a sense of belonging, you have to carry it on. Okay, so these are some of the end goals that you have to consider whenever you're building a business. More than like the like profits will come and go, people will come and go, but at the core you have to be satisfied with these three things when it comes to business. And then of course, when your family or your friends ask you that are you still busy with your company after all this time, entrepreneurs be like always. So with this thing in mind, I think so I'm almost done with my session. I would like to keep more discussions at the end, but then I'm now speaking to you from a place in Jharkhand. I'm here for an outreach session in the remote, in one of the remotest place in southern part. So when I come here, like as an educational entrepreneur, like for hands-on sessions with these, like today I had a session. These people, like from these remotest areas, these students, don't even they haven't even heard about ISRO, you know. Okay, but then like it is our duty, like as space education providers, that we bring these things to people. Okay, that our country, because after all the tax money is also coming from their parents' money or even our parents or our money. Okay, so considering all of this, in that way you have to find out what you're doing. Now Why I was telling about Jharkhand is that yesterday also happened to be the death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. In today's state, in today's India, many people have many views about this person, but I think he is one of those people who continues to inspire many of us, and also the world. We means like it is something that we agree it or not. He brings to the table a different kind of thinking. So it was very humbling to see that so many Jharkhandis are actually considering a veg diet on that particular day, though it has no logical grounds, but at least the reverence for the Mahatma that they have, like this person, even after years of his death. Okay, this is something this man has achieved with peace that many couldn't by killing him. Okay, so one quote that I got to read yesterday, that is this one: whatever you do in life will be insignificant, but it is very important that you do it, because you can't ever really know the meaning of life, and you don't need to. Every life has a meaning, whether it lasts 100 years or 100 seconds. Every life and every death changes the world in its own way. You can't know, so don't take it for granted, but again, don't take it so seriously as well. Don't postpone what you want, don't leave anything misunderstood. Make sure the people you care about know, and make sure they know how you really feel, because just like that, it could end. So, with this quote, I hope you understood what Gandhi tried to share with us, because at the end, it is life. Okay, and whatever you take up a job, you start your own organization, you do whatever it is with your life, but then it could end just without you knowing itself. So, never be afraid to take the risks, never be afraid to do something that you love, to tell people whom you love, and also pursue what you want. Okay, and as in the first line, as he says, that everything you do will always be insignificant, but it is important that you do it. So that's the main thing in entrepreneurship as well. And with that, arise, awake, and stop not till your goal is reached. The very words by Swami Vivekananda that I would like to leave you with. Thank you again to GeoSpace Tech Fest 2026 and Delhi Technological University team for this wonderful opportunity. I'm open to questions and discussions for the next some time. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, for such an engaging and insightful session. Now, as mentioned earlier, it's time for a quick interactive quiz based on what was discussed in today's session. So we'll be sharing a Google form link in the chat box. The quiz consists of 5 short questions related to AI, applications in space missions, workflows, and key concepts covered in today's talk. So this is a great opportunity to test your understanding, and we encourage everyone to participate. So please ensure that you enter your correct name and your email ID, as the responses will be used to identify the winners. We will evaluate the responses immediately, and the top 5 participants will be announced at the end of the session. Additionally, the winners will also receive a special shout out on our official social media platforms. So let's make this fun and interactive, and click the link when it's like posted and answer the questions and give it your best shot. Yeah, the link is posted right now, so you can join, and you'll have 2 minutes to finish this quiz. After this, we'll proceed for a Q&A session. So all the best, and let's get started.
Till then, people can raise their hands and we'll take the questions also.
Yes, indeed. Like now that, as they said, that they are testing your understanding, you can also test my understanding as well regarding today's session. So feel free to drop in any questions in the chat, or let's say even raise your hands for any questions, please.
So I think nobody has a question yet. So I have one for you. So can you like tell somebody's
Yes.
trying to spam our fest?
Never mind. Like I completely understand. There are people who will continue to do this. Let's continue our work. Yes. In astronomy, we have this word, right? Like signal to noise ratio. When the noise is much, level up your signal. Okay. So let's do that.
Okay. Yes, let's
Now, uh,
okay.
the part that you asked,
Yeah.
how did we start? Okay, as I mentioned that mostly when it comes to the Indian space sector, there are more stakeholders from let's say providing doing some cool things in physics and engineering domains when it comes to space. Okay, so we thought like where is our place? Let's say I'm from chemistry background, my co-founder is from medicine and pharmacy. Where do we find our place? Okay, so we thought why not start something of our own. Okay, so that was a like crazy thing. We started a LinkedIn group and we used to share a lot like about like some space activities and all in that every week, every day. Okay, and then we thought that no, it's time that we finally start something of our own. And then eventually we started. And yes, one thing that I forgot mentioning, actually, thank you for the question, that one question that is often asked that how to start. I have mentioned that these things you can start. One good case study to start an organization or a club, like a space company for all can be that, let's say you all are studying in college, many of you, or let's say university. You can start a club of your own there in the college or of your or in your campus, or let's say start a WhatsApp group discussing about certain thing, or let's say a book club or some kind of small initiative, or take up a project, college project. Engineering students have a lot of project ideas, as I've seen over the years. So start with something, because when you do something like that, then you get an idea how to get well with people. You also get to know that what is your interest, let's say while discussing things with others, and at the same time, let's say a particular project that you're interested in. How about then you continue after college, or like even during the college you can start, there's nothing as such, of your company, a niche area or a product in that same domain on which your project was based on, or let's say there is the discussion that you used to have in your club. Okay, so it is not necessary that you have to start by registering things and all. If you first start or like find out your interest. And similarly, like as coming back to Kamini's question, that we found our interest in these domains of astrobiology, astrochemistry, or let's say space medicine, space pharmacy. Then even eventually we found our interest in space law, space economy, and of course space education. Okay, to say so, like we have a team of 6 people in the executive team. So all of us more or less are science communicators. Okay, like we have been associated with communication like in our own humble way. Let's say you have also seen Swati Priya the other day, who was sharing about AI and space. So she was also something into this education and let's say the science communication. But then she joined one of the events like this, like Space Tech Fest. She joined one of our Space and Sustainability Fest back in 2022. So that time she thought that this is some group that I can work with. Okay, and same for many others, those who are into science communication. So basically, we see ourselves initially as, let's say, a group of science communicators first, and then let's say researchers or some service providers or entrepreneurs. So that common link should always be there, and that's how we found our way. And I think so most of you can find your way as well.
Another question I have, like,
Okay.
in today's world, everybody is after money, and every student is just trying to get placements. They are not thinking about their dreams. So, how do you motivate such a society
Okay,
to
see, if
pursue
now if
their
I now
dream? And
standing at
it's a problem for
of course, haha.
like,
See, I would not say that money is not important. Money is actually important to say so, but then money is not the ultimate thing. Okay, because I have seen people, like I'll just share some personal experiences. Maybe many of you have come across such statements or such kind of experiences from people or seniors or any other. I was once at a that was an art workshop. Okay, like at a like at a co-working space. So the art workshop was basically about moon lamp making. Okay, that was a simple thing, because often we do with kids and all, and even like we great, like some elderly people also like making those moves. I thought, like, I have some time, why not I engage in this kind of small activity. So there were some other people, those who were working into the IT company, working in the IT companies, or some kind of corporate jobs in the MNCs and all. Okay, and when I was sharing about what I do, okay, or I try to do in my own humble endeavor, they seem like, means, that this is an interesting thing. Then I said, no, it's nothing like interesting thing. I think so. Your job is equally interesting. They say, no, there's nothing, like it's very boring and this and that. But then on the other hand, like, this is something that I'm sharing without even asking them. They are of the opinion that their working space is quite fashioned, or let's say very well designed, and the MNC officers are so cool and so wonderful. It is so wonderful working there. Okay, so they have this fantasy in their minds that they have to work in the MNCs. And on the other hand, when you talk about the actual work that they're doing, okay, they are saying that it is boring. So I personally think that when you are doing something that you love and also earning money, that is where you can find your vocation. So it can be a job as well, but it can also be an organization building. Okay, so money is important, but at the same time, doing something that you like to. Okay, I think so. There was a question in the chat. Just a second.
Yes, so there's a question. It's from Sumit Sharma, and it says, "What can you tell about earning money and how to overcome it?"
Oh, you mean like? Oh, I think so. I have answered this already. That money is of course important, but then also it's not that you're like burning out doing something that is not at all like syncing with you, and like just age. You're just waiting for collecting more and more money and aging till your death deathbed. That is not the way life is lived. Okay, you have to live actually, huh? So do a job. There's like, we need both, like those who do jobs, we need also entrepreneurs. But then do something that you love. It is not that like you are into the job because you want money. Okay, it can sustain you, but it also should sustain you mentally and like physically as well.
So, any of you have any other question? Neha, Vebri, Michelle, please ask. Okay, Sumit, you can ask. Please unmute yourself and ask. Okay, you're writing. Okay, we'll read. You write.
Okay, sure.
So, tell then, Palit, you can tell like what are the differences in different states. Like you are from Bengal, right? And you're currently in Jharkhand. So,
Yes.
what are the issues you face?
I think so. Like with regard to the space ecosystem, or in
Yeah,
general,
yeah.
you ask.
Yes.
Oh, the space ecosystem. Okay, okay. I think so. When it comes to eastern and northeastern parts of India, there are many talented individuals, those who are more into the academic side. Like if I talk about West Bengal, you will find most of the astronomers or like space technology people often like come from this part of of India. Okay, but then when it comes to entrepreneurship, it is not that much fostered in this part. Okay, so that is one thing that we are working on when it comes to awareness generation, or let's say even setting up a proper space ecosystem in this part of India, like in eastern and northeastern part. One thing I would to say that like recently I was at a SciComm conference like related to astronomy, and there were people from different parts of India, few from eastern and northeastern part, but then there are people, I must say, that they are doing some wonderful work. But as they say that when you have some cool organizations like ISRO has many centers in southern part, and the in space is in the western part. So it is good to have such organizations of entrepreneurship or space technology out there. But then we have to play our part. That is what we are doing, along with some other stakeholders who have come up. So, but then when it comes to the remote regions in every part of India, like be it in Rajasthan or Jharkhand, like I was telling today, or Chhattisgarh and all, in the remotest parts, people don't even know that there is an organization named ISRO. They don't even know that people have been to space. Okay, so at times we think that we have a lot of problems, but then we should be also humble enough to acknowledge that there are people in much let's say ignorant positions, or even let's say in much let's say bad conditions than us. Okay, at least we should be grateful of what we have. Yes, I think so. We have the question.
Yeah, so he's trying to ask that he want to switch to astrophysics in Osmania. So is it a good opportunity? I think that's the question.
Frankly, this is something that you have to find out walking the path, as I mentioned, because nobody knows what is a good opportunity and what is not. But then, of course, like Osmania University, like there's Dr. Priya Hassan and her partner as well, those who are quite active in the astronomy uh, like sector. Like astronomy sector is different, and again space sector is a bit different, but of course there is always a point of let's say intersection of both. Now there are other options as well, but make sure that when you're entering into astronomy or astrophysics, you actually consider the research interest, like because these are broader domains too. Okay, like in astrophysics itself, there are so many domains to work in. Be it let's say solar physics, be it let's say AI and data science, or optical astronomy, or let's say radio astronomy, or infrared and UV astronomy. Okay, so make sure you at least have the sense that which thing can interest you. Okay, and you can always do your project in a master's like from a good laboratory, and then maybe move towards research domain, or let's say science communication domain, or even other domains that you may like. Okay, it's not that you just have to go towards research only. Okay, but then generally people, those who go in this line, I have seen they go towards research, but then you can be a unique case study as well. Okay, so that's all. I think so. Okay, what is this? The
I
TIFRH.
have another quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fun one. Like,
Yes, yes.
how many years are we far from actually building cities on any other planet or in orbit?
On orbit. On
Like,
orbit, there is.
how
Ha,
technologically far we are. So,
ha, ha.
like,
Like for
I
example,
think I
ha,
was
ha, go on.
like, uh, uh, like when we see Elon Musk, so
Ha, ha.
he's building for technology for Mars. So I always wonder it, like when will actually the trip to Mars and Moon will start?
Frankly, the trip to Mars, like the moon, especially, I cannot say much about Mars because that is not a hopeful thing to say so. But about moon, I'm quite hopeful because there are a series of missions from various, let's say, countries, including India, that is actually going to seriously consider exploring the moon with Japan or America or Russia or China or any other, or like Europe as well. But when it comes to civilization building, okay, when it comes to and Mars, so you forget only, like Mars is very far away. For moon itself, like civilization building is still, let's say, maybe next century. Okay, we can still consider next century. Okay, like for example, the backdrops on your screen that you have, like a space station, like in a well-designed space station, there's a company named Vast. Okay, it is like coming out of America, so they are considering building such kind of space station, like so aesthetically beautiful, and there will be tourists, those who will be going there up in space, having some drinks or some living for some time or something like that. Okay, like a tourist, let's say hotel or a restaurant, to say so. Okay, and I'm quite hopeful about those companies because there are quite good as like experienced astronauts or technicians associated with them. But then when it comes to civilization building, it is a combined effort of humanity, I must say. It is not just one country that they go. Okay, because see, Russia US wars can happen here on earth, but then in space, their national egos have to go away and have to work on the International Space Station together. Okay, so space is such a harsh domain that, let's say, even if, let's say, Trump today cries that I didn't get a Nobel Prize, I would want to go to moon. Okay, so then that is not going to happen. So it is. I'm quite hopeful that we will build in some decades, but then I'm also at the same time pessimistic about administrations like the current one in the US, which is severely affecting such kind of, let's say, geopolitical situations as well as scientific research. Okay, so in those cases we have to be we have to be concerned. Okay.
Also, Palit, like, how do you handle such a question, which I'm going to ask now? That if we have so many problems on Earth, why we are going to space? Why are we are not using our money and technology to solve problems on Earth?
Acha, okay, this question is quite is common to me. I would first like to answer it in this way. Like, why do anything when we know that we have to die someday? We all know that we have to die someday. But then why even do? Why even get some degree, or let's say, why even get a job, or why even start a company, right? So it is not, of course, at the same time, like, it is not often about the ultimate outcome. It is about the spirit in doing the thing. So first things that space itself is an inspiration inspiring domain. We humans are curious. Okay, that's why we explore. To be human itself is to explore. That is the first part. Now the second one, the more practical answer to this is, let's say, this internet connection. It was first developed to for communication with the Apollo astronauts who went to the moon. Or let's say, many examples like, tele-education, telemedicine. Okay, or let's say this weather forecasting data. Okay, that we get every now and then. That is through space technology. Or during the COVID-19, this is a very recent example I can give you. COVID-19, you all have seen in the news the hotspot zones, the red zone, the orange zone, the green zone. How does it get mapped? They didn't go for ground survey to people's home that do you have COVID patients, do you do not have COVID patients, not like that. So they clubbed the medical institutions data with the space data to actually create those hotspots. Okay, so they helped measure the problem. Or let's say, these farming gets improved if the farmer knows through precision agriculture, that is the technology brought by space, to understand whether a land is even cultivable, or how much of, let's say, fertilizer or water needs to be fed to that land so that it is cultivable. So there are multiple such examples. Or one last example I want to take is the HACCP, the hazardous, and I'm forgetting the full form at the moment, but it is something like hazardous critical control point. I'm forgetting the A at the moment. So it is basically a system to check whether the packaged food that we have every day, if it is up to the mark, if it is up to the quality, so that it can be consumable. So this system was developed by an industry named Pillsbury, when NASA gave them a tender back in the 1960s to make space food for astronauts. So that system is being used in food industries today. So there are so many spin-offs that we get from space, and also the applications, that it outdoes this particular question, that it doesn't solve any problem here on Earth. It does solve problem here on Earth. Okay, if we are ungrateful, that is our problem, but space has been a continuous provider of solutions to mankind's or humankind's problem. Okay.
Also, Palit, what sector do you think is most important in space? Like, if someone wants to start their space career as an entrepreneur, so which is the biggest problem, do you think? Most important problem?
This is a very difficult question for me, because like,
Or
it is
maybe you
not.
can give two, three problems. It's okay, of
Okay,
your
okay.
choice.
Because there are problems are many, and something may interest someone, something may not interest the other person,
Hmm.
right?
Huh.
So one thing is, of course, the um, like, there are many space imagery producing organizations, like aerial imagery of Earth. Now they often say that like those are being used for farmers and all, but I have seen those applications in the Western countries. Okay, but for India, for let's say where most of our farmers do not even get go to school or are not that technically savvy. Okay, it is important that connect with those farmers or those people like is done. Like I talked about Devlina Bhattacharji as a space entrepreneur. She has her space like company, like Climate Crew. What she does in her company is that they collect the space data and feed it on their app that basically provides information about when the fishermen or fishing people, they can go for fishing or any other like seashore activities and all. So they have not only invested in the app or the technology part, they have also invested in the education part of those fishermen or like fishing community, so that they can use the app, they can like take that as a service, okay, at a nominal cost. So this kind of problems are like when it is people centric and at the same time technology centric can be helpful. Okay, so these are some. Another is of course like some space medicine or microgravity related platforms that can be created at an affordable cost that can help Indian academicians or people to do more experiments, because in microgravity we can understand chemistry and physics and even biology in a different uh, way altogether. Okay, and lastly one more is of course like the um, considering space for defense solutions, which of course empowers our nations. So there are multiple project statements issued by DRDO and ISRO together that you can consider looking at.
Okay, there is one question in the chat. Like he's asking, when will space tourism be available for normal people? So this question also comes in my mind. Like, is space for only wealthy people, or it's for common public? So
This is a common notion. See, like if you study the history of many new technologies, let's say aeroplanes, when they came, initially the wealthy people could afford it, but today most of us can, right? And let's say Apple, Apple mobiles or phones. We know initially it was a wealthy part of the like humanity that could afford it, but today even like many other people can. So we have to consider that like when it comes to technology, initially it is going to be very very like niche and also um, like non-affordable at times initially, but over the time we have to be optimistic enough that as more and more people get to use it, it is going to be cheaper and affordable.
okay, Neha, let's start the announcement. Thank you, Palit, for answering so many questions. Mine.
I suppose somebody is asking what's the meaning of niche. Niche is basically a specialized domain. Okay, like a more specialized topic that you are working with.
Neha, you missed start.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for the enthusiastic participation, everyone. It is truly encouraging to see such strong engagement and thoughtful responses from all of you. The quiz results clearly reflect how impactful and insightful today's session was. I will now announce the top 5 performers of today's quiz. A huge congratulations to Pragati Srivastav from University of Lucknow, Sumit Sharma from University of Lucknow, Purvain Lalit from ATREE, Himani Patharia from Banasthali Vidyapeeth, and Swati Verma from Banasthali Vidyapeeth. Let's give them a big round of applause. To all our winners, you will also be receiving a special shout out on our social media platforms. Once again, congratulations to all the winners and thank you everyone who participated and made this session even more interactive. Now, before I formally conclude, I request you to please allow me a few minutes because this session is not the effort of just one person standing here today. There's a large and dedicated team working behind the scenes, many of whom you may not have heard or seen, but whose continuous efforts made this session possible. First and foremost, on behalf of Antariksh, the Geospatial Society of DTU, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to our respected HOD Dr. K.C. Tiwari sir for his continuous guidance, encouragement, and support. We also acknowledge the unwavering support of Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dean Students Welfare, Dean PG, Dean UG, all deans, heads of departments, faculty members, the registrar, and the administrative heads of the university. We would also like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our valued partner, Hyfix India Private Limited, for their support and enabling GeoSpace TechFest to remain a zero registration fee initiative, making these technical sessions accessible to students across institutions. A special and sincere thank you to Mr. Sibsankar Palit sir for sharing his valuable experiences, insights, and guidance on career and ventures in the space sector. Your session has truly added immense value to all our participants. I would also like to appreciate the relentless efforts of the Antriksh Organizing Committee, volunteers, and the core team members, whose hard work and dedication ensured the smooth planning and execution of today's session. Thank you all our participants for joining us and actively engaging throughout the session. We now kindly request everyone to share their valuable feedback through the link shared in the chat. Thank you and have a very good evening, everyone.
Okay, bye bye, guys. Bye bye, Palit. Thank you. And we will all see you in our next session. We will announce it soon. Okay, bye bye.
Thank you very much, everyone. Take care.